Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Kevin Kalan, and of course, I've got my partner Khalid Messoud here with me. And
Hi.
the purpose of this podcast today, well, we'll discuss trading ideas, trading tips, trading strategies, both for experienced and newbie traders as well. Okay. So
Yes.
I guess we might as well just get started, Cal. I've actually known you for quite some time now. I more or less
What?
know exactly how you operate, but I'm quite sure that there are a lot of people out there who are curious to find out a bit more about Khalid Masood, what you're about, how you got started with the game. So I would just say, give you a little quick introduction. So first and foremost, how did you actually get started with trading?
Oh, nice question. Well, I was about 17 years old. I remember when I was really interested in the field. I
Hmm.
mean, I came from a what was this? Economics, business, physics, maths sort of background in terms
Right.
of me studying them back in A level. And
Hmm.
of course, as I was learning those topics, I was like, cool, I wanted to get involved in something, but I didn't know where to, but I knew it was going to be finance.
Right.
And of course, accountancy, being an actuarist was obviously one of the options.
Right.
Until one time I went to this opening event and I spoke to one of the brokers in the city.
Hmm.
I was speaking to him now, and we're there sitting down, and of course, they were offering an investment opportunity.
Right.
And while I was there, I was like, okay, cool. They have this managed account system where they're literally providing a service where if you invest, let's say, 1,000 minimum, you'll see a particular return back
Hmm.
on a weekly basis
Right.
across a year. So I was like, okay, cool. Let me check it out. So I put in £1,000 into it, and to return me 2,000 profits, which was 3,000 altogether. And I
Right.
was wondering, how could you make money off a graph, which didn't really sit right with me? So I had
Hmm.
to really do some research as well as it.
Right.
I asked him questions. I tried to do my own personal research in terms of reading books,
Hmm.
doing research online,
Hmm.
until we got to a point where I gained a decent amount of information. But then he just got a promotion in Australia, which he had
Right.
to attend to for a couple of years. So
Okay.
of course, time of learning came to a close.
Right. Okay, fair enough, fair enough. And so from that point on, did you then decide to kind of learn the craft yourself and start enhancing your skills, or did you keep using their investment service that they had?
Well, in essence, I mean, this guy was a cool guy, 45 years old at the time, I think, roughly give or
Okay,
take.
okay,
Like,
okay, big boys.
there was no support on the social media. Yeah, yeah, the big boys. Yeah, there was no
Mm,
help. It got to a point where I was like, okay, cool. I don't have YouTube because YouTube wasn't really popping like that back then.
right,
We had Snapchat wasn't even about. Instagram, of course, like there wasn't that many options to use. It was
right,
just me and a direct access to the city, and
right,
that was the problem we had back then. And of course, I was like, cool, let me learn. So I done my own personal research, and yeah, of course, since he wasn't there, I had to do my own personal research. I had to meet
of course.
brokers through him. He passed me on. He recommended me a few guys that worked in the office with him, and I was just shadowing them, learning the techniques, and there I have it. And
How
then,
would you say that? How would you say that your experience with those traders in the city actually helped you to where you are right now? Did you feel like you learned a lot from these guys? Did you hone in your skills with these guys, or was it more or less, they made you some money and that's it?
well, I mean, the hope, of course, the key, the actual the access to education from these guys were quite good. I mean, they did
Mm,
show me what I wanted to learn, but of
right,
course, learning of one person is all well good enough. You kind of need to learn from different sources and expand your knowledge.
right.
Learning never stops. You feel
Absolutely.
like you've done it and you're a professional or successful trader, but you still need
Absolutely.
to learn week in, week out. Even I learned today, and it's been like
Exactly.
9 years now.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
I mean, you have
yeah.
to understand that in a sense.
I agree with you. I mean, it was a couple of weeks ago we were actually having a webinar, and one thing I always say, especially to new traders, is that the moment you stop learning is the moment you stop earning. You know, so
Exactly. And we provide these
education never
webinars on a
stops.
weekly basis for anyone that's interested in wanting to get involved in trading and actually start by educating themselves before actually making money from the markets.
How long have you actually been trading now, Cal?
Well, I've been trading for 9 years now. So it's been 9 years. I've been building my name through the industry. Of course, I studied in university. literally from there till now, and I never looked back. So it is 9 years now,
Out
literally
of
nine.
those, out of those 9 years, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
how many years would you classify yourself as a profitable trader? Because that makes a difference, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I would say the well, because of course the lack of internet access and the support back then, it took me a good year and a bit to actually grasp and become a trader that's bringing in results on a daily basis. So it did take me a long time, and of course, at the second year, the losses started to minimize, and from the third year onwards,
It started to manifest.
it all started to manifest. Literally,
Yeah,
I won't say very quick in terms of a week. It's not a week or 6 months process. I mean, it may take a year or two, but it'll be a lot quicker than how I had to suffer.
definitely. Well, I mean, I like what you said there. You know, you said after, some time the losses started to minimize and the returns started to magnify almost, right? So, what would you actually say to, especially the new traders who think they can just jump into finance and become profitable traders after a month? What would you actually say to these guys?
Um, I mean, you have to understand that no matter what you do in any business that you get into, the process of seeing great results and achieving greatness does take time. Okay, so if you're getting into the field, first educate yourself. Rule number one:
Mm,
you educate yourself in the field, understand all the theory you need to get
right,
involved, and
right,
start practically learning how to trade. Because there's
right.
practical and theory. There's no point jumping into practicals. And I feel like everyone that jumps into the field, I ask them, have you learned how to trade? Based on what I know, I wouldn't jump on this trade because it doesn't show the way I would see it on the technicals. But if you don't do that and you don't educate yourself, you're going to be entering all the trades that you see on these broadcast lists from traders, and then you're going to see losses and then start blaming trading.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I see what you mean. Um, I think another thing that we see quite often as well is that people get too blinded by the numbers. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, yeah, and you got to understand, there's a lot of guys on the internet that a lot of so-called traders that do show a lifestyle that they say, oh, you can make money this week and you're gonna make money over 6 months, but it can happen. Yes, seeing the lifestyle they have in a short space of time is quite bleak. You have to let's be real. Like I mean, at
Mm,
the end of the day,
yeah.
you can achieve what they're doing, but it is a process. That
Wouldn't
and
you say that the lifestyle, wouldn't you say that the lifestyle aspect is part of the game, though? It's part of the charm, it's part of the essence of trading, right?
Yeah, look, for example, like I mean, I do my lifestyle, but
Mm,
that's the fruits of the labor of me knowing what
exactly.
I'm doing in the trading game, and the same
Yeah,
with you. So I mean, you know how to trade,
absolutely.
you see
Of course.
results, and then now you can do the lifestyle that you deserve to do. But I'm
Absolutely.
saying lifestyle to attract clientele involved and telling them, oh, you can make money in a week or a couple of days, or and you just got to be careful. You just got to be careful with that. I mean,
You have
that's
to,
where
yeah.
the problem is, and people think, oh, I'm gonna make money in like a couple of days, and then when they don't,
No, they get
they
upset.
start, yeah, start blaming the industry. But
Exactly.
it's just in your thought of the process and what you thought trading was, and it needs to be
Exactly.
clear before you.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I do feel like, trading and investing, it can be for everyone. It certainly can. But often you see that people get too blinded by the numbers. They get too blinded by the flashy cars. They
Mm-hmm.
get too blinded by the lifestyle without actually, taking their time to do their due diligence and learn the skills, like you said. Okay. Now, you and I obviously started doing trading education quite a few years ago,
Oh
but
yeah.
I don't think that a lot of people actually know how that actually came about, right? So when did you start, to realize that, hey, you know what, I've got a skill here. People are obviously asking me, how they can trade, how they can sort of live this lifestyle that you live. So when did you realize that you had this skill and that you could kind of give back to those who were coming to you for help?
Well, I mean, of course, how it all started. Well, back in university, I mean, I used to trade between lectures,
I
in
remember.
lectures.
I remember.
Yes,
I used to see you on. I used to see you up in the common area with your charts and everything, and I always used to think to myself, who is this guy, man?" Because obviously, I was working in the city back then as well until we eventually, kind of teamed up. But yeah, no, I remember those days.
and then I was getting quite a few guys that were really interested. Every time I used to go to the common area and start trading and catching pips or catching those trades during
Hmm.
non-farm payroll, which is
Yeah.
the Friday of every month,
Hmm.
based on employment rates in the US. I used to be trading, catching these good trades, and then everyone used to look over my shoulder, watch what I'm doing, and see what the hell are you doing?
Right.
And I used to
Right.
celebrate randomly, and people used to think, wait, why is this guy? Is this guy crazy or something? Like, there's something fishy. Well, let's see what he's about. And then as time went on, they still saw me on the laptop, still trading, still doing what I was doing on a day-to-day basis. And
Right.
then they're like, look, bring me in. Let me hear what you've got to say.
Yeah.
Pay you because I'm seeing the results that you're bringing in, and I want to become a successful trader like yourself. And they
Amazing.
found out that I literally had to quit my job because the money was rolling in, and literally it started working from that point onwards. People
That's
start buying.
amazing.
Where there's a demand for service, I mean, you put a price to it to see their
Well,
their commitment. How would you know if they're serious or not? So you don't want to
exactly,
waste.
exactly, exactly. Where there's demand, there's supply, and you were literally supplying them with,
Yeah,
more or less the trading education, the skills that you had learned as well. And I think what a lot of people also sometimes tend to forget, like you said, you have to quit your job. You actually, you got to the point where you were so good at what you were doing that, you handed in your letter of resignation and you started going full time,
literally
right?
there, and I was in the fashion world. I was working in Harvey Nichols,
Mm,
and like I was called in the office a few times and whatnot
mm,
because obviously you could see the commitment to my work wasn't
yeah.
what it was at the start because my main focus was trading and I was seeing great results over there. So my
Mm,
eye was over there. And then they called me to the office. The manager was speaking to me and whatnot. And I was like, she's like, I know that you're doing what you're doing. I
right.
know that you sure you actually want to like continue with this workplace. And of course, from there, I was doing what I was doing. At the same time, I was trading from home.
Right. You were actually making three, four, five times what you were earning at Harvey Nichols. Is that correct?
Yeah. And there I did it. Went for that and never looked back.
And mind you, Harvey Nichols is a high-end department store, right? So, I assume they pay you pretty good. So for you to actually start making, four times, five times what you were earning at Harvey Nichols, I mean, it says a lot, right? So it was only natural for you to actually leave Harvey Nichols and pursue your trading career further, wasn't it?
Yeah. And I mean, people used to look at me strange. I told them,
Yeah.
look, this is what I want to get involved in. This is me.
Exactly that. Exactly that. And now that we are obviously experiencing this coronavirus pandemic, has that taken a hit on your trading activity in general?
You have to understand there's a lot of volatility. Yeah, I see it as like it builds so many new opportunities. As long as your risk management is in check and you've got your discipline set out beautifully where you know that you can only keep it to minimal amount of trades on a daily basis, only trade on opportunities, I don't see why that would be a negative for yourself or a problem for you. The oil prices during the pandemic where the oil was dropping what to sub-zero, like what zero negative I was hearing, whether it's interest hikes, non-farm payroll, anything you can think of, there's always opportunities.
Absolutely, for sure, for sure. And I think also with this corona pandemic happening, we've actually had probably more than 700 students that we've taken this year alone because people are sitting at home and they're looking for a new skill. They're looking to, pick something up that's going to be beneficial to themselves. So, like you said, it's all about how you look at it. And like I always like to say, every crisis presents an opportunity. And a lot of people over this past few months have probably taken our course that we offer as well, and I've learned a lot from that because we keep providing them with ongoing support like you mentioned at the beginning, which is very important, especially when you're starting off new in the trading industry, right?
Of course, of course, of course, of course. And that's the blessings of trading. I mean, like, as long as you've got the support there, you can achieve. It's all well and good just getting signals from a provider. But what does that how does that help you become a successful trader? How does that help you become profitable? I mean, signals and whatnot, it can go so well, but it's all well and good. But you need to have continuous supports, okay? Always educate yourself first. Best advice before anything.
Exactly. Exactly. I agree with that. I agree with that. Well, that was actually going to be my next question. You know, what one advice would you actually give to someone who is new to trading and wants to get involved in the markets?
Okay, first of all, I would recommend educating yourself, which is very important.
Hmm.
And it may not be by like online services that you may see about. It could just be by just looking on YouTube, checking out some few documentaries on trade, like just just to get yourself into the door. It could
Mm,
be probably reading books on trading. There's so many trading tip books, like literally there's so many you can look at, literally. Um I would say personally, educate yourself through either YouTube, online services, maybe books, ebooks, and then from there you can look to advance your knowledge
yeah.
and take it like that.
Yeah, I think that's good advice. I think at the beginning, like I said, you know, sometimes people get so blinded by the numbers, they get blinded by the flashy cars, and they tend to skip the most important part and try to go in and you know hit it big right off the bat. But you need to make sure that you learn the ropes before you
Yeah,
start climbing. You know what I mean?
yeah, because I get a lot of clients saying, "Oh, okay, cool. I want to start. I got 400. How much can I make me?" And I'm thinking to yourself, if that's the attitude you're coming into the game, the industry with or whatnot, I don't think the industry's for you.
Yeah,
You can't come to the game and say, "Okay, I got 400. How much can it make me from trading?" Like, I mean, it all depends. There's so many different outcomes to that. You can see, you can double your money in a week. You can make 10% in a week.
yeah,
It all depends on what trades you get into,
yeah,
what ones
yeah,
you avoided. That could
yeah,
have been something great.
yeah,
And it depends whether you decided, okay, cool, I want to learn first for the first week. The next week, I want to trade. If you're doing it that way, you're increasing your possibilities of becoming a better trader. So it all depends on how you approach it, rather than you putting in money and expecting a return just like that. Because I'm sure, like in any business you get into, there's always different outcomes to your investment. So
absolutely,
I would
yeah.
recommend first, like I said, get a mentor if you can. If you can't, educate yourself. There's few online services about. There's so many traders about. I'm not here to sell any sort of product that we provide, although we do provide teaching resources online. It's all good to like learn, then execute. Once you execute, you will see your returns.
Absolutely. I could not have said it better myself. Okay.
Mm.
Well, look, Cal, it's been a pleasure. I think we're going to leave it at that for today.
Yeah,
Of course, we're going to be on the next episode. We're going to be back at it again. So I
yeah,
would say, you know, thank you everybody for listening.
yeah.
Join us again on the next episode where we're going to be discussing how to pick the right broker for you and also what asset classes suit you best.
It's been an honest pleasure. Thank you so much for tuning in to Smooth Talk with Kevin and Cal.
See you
One
later,
love.
guys. Bye bye.